Today I'm going to be showing you how to professionally fill a hole in the wall and paint it and get it completely finished and done and dusted. You'll never even know it was there, and you'll be able to do the whole lot in a single day without having to wait for plaster to dry and all that sort of thing. Hiya, welcome back to Gosforth Handyman, and welcome to this little job we've got here where I've been running cables up through this wall, and a really common situation where you've got big holes in plasterboard that you need to fill. This technique that I use works really well on just bog standard drywall and on dot and dab walls as well. I strongly recommend when you're cutting the holes into the drywall in the first place, don't just cut out some random shape. Use a proper hole saw drill, and it's a much neater professional way of doing it. And the big advantage of using the hole drill is that you're left with a piece to put back in when you're done, and we're going to use that later on. If it's an unusual shape of hole, so if it's not a circular hole for whatever reason, don't attempt to cut out a piece of plasterboard to fit the hole. Instead, cut out a bit of plasterboard, shove it on the wall, draw around it, cut out that hole, and then we're going to fit the plasterboard into that hole. But for this, I've already got the little plugs left over from where I drilled this out, and these are going to be perfect for the job. The really big advantage of using the original plasterboard that came out of the hole is that if there's any skim on the plasterboard and you don't know what thickness the skim's going to be, well, you're then returning that skim to where it was. If you use a brand new piece of plasterboard in the hole, and if you line up the back of that with the back of this, depending on how thick the skim is, you're then going to also have to skim whatever depth onto the plasterboard. But the skim's already on here, so you don't need to bother doing that. You've saved yourself a job. Before I show you all the stuff that you're going to need for this job, don't forget to hit subscribe. The only reason I do boring videos like this is to try and draw new people to the channel. I don't normally make videos about filling holes. Anyway, stuff you're going to need. A bit of wood, just a scrap bit of like pine or something like that. It's going to be hidden in the wall. You're never going to see it. You're going to need the original core that you drilled out the wall in the first place. You're going to need some proper plasterboard screws, drywall screws. So one and only time that you'll see me using drywall screws. You'll need the obsolete Phillips bit to go with it. You're going to need filler, and I've got two different ones here to show you depending where you are on the planet. I don't know how readily available this is. This is a two-part filler, so it's like a resin, a two-part resin. The big advantage of going down this route is that it dries completely solid, ready for sanding in about 10 minutes. We've got the Ronseal high performance wood filler. Ignore the fact that it says wood filler, it fills anything. It's basically the same as car body filler as far as I'm concerned. The big advantage of the Ronseal is that it comes in white, and when you're using it on a white wall, having white filler means that you need less paint afterwards to paint over it. But it is quite expensive. The other option is to go for something like this. This is Bonder Decor Fill, which I use and buy in great big tubs. If you're buying great big tubs of it, I would recommend that you decant it off into like a jar and use bits of it at a time. Using it out of this massive tub all the time isn't particularly practical. And this video isn't being sponsored by Doritos, but like the Doritos chip like dip jars, they work really well. Don't use a jar that has a plastic lid on it. These have metal lids. If you use a plastic lid, you'll probably find the fumes from that will melt the plastic. The Bonder Decor Fill is it's basically the same stuff, but it's much cheaper because you can buy it in a giant tub. The downside is that it's a kind of darkish grey colour, so you're going to need a lot more paint to cover it up afterwards. Whereas the Ronseal is much closer to white. It's not perfectly white, but it just means you're going to need less coats of paint. And then you're going to need something to mix this on. I find old laminate flooring works really well. And you're going to need 2 filling knives. I've done videos on how to use two-part fillers before. I'll include a link in the description. I'm not going to go into that in crazy amounts of detail. You're also going to need like a Stanley knife type thing of some description, and obviously you need a cup of coffee. Oh, and some sandpaper. So the first thing you're going to do is get your Stanley knife, and we're going to put a chamfered edge around this. It'll just help, trust us, it makes life much easier later on. We're just going to chamfer the edge of the plug. Should only take a couple of minutes. Obviously, I forgot to mention, that's the front edge. It's not the back edge that you're going to chamfer, it's the front edge. You'll see why in a minute. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing on the hole. Chamfer this edge. The whole idea of this is that you want to get rid of all the kind of ragged edges, and we're also given something for the fillet to sit on afterwards. Got a little ragged, oh, that'll do. Get any dust or anything out of that hole, you can just use a dry paintbrush. Now, get your bit of wood, and we're going to screw that in place. Now, it can be tricky to hold on to that bit of wood, so what you can do is attach like a screw into the front of it temporarily, just so you can hold on to it. Except don't be a dozy pillock and make it so that you can't actually now get it in the hole. Do not drop your bit of wood. We want the heads of the screws to be just below the surface by, what, 1 millimetre or 2 mil? Not too far in, but definitely not flush or sticking out, obviously. Once that's done, you can take this screw back. Now we're going to use the two-part resin to glue this onto here. Right, you haven't got long to work with this, so what I'm going to do is just butter the edges of this piece. Don't worry if it goes everywhere. And then put a nice big kind of blob of this stuff on the back bit there. You've got to work quick because this stuff sets really quickly. You've got to get that plug in the wall within a matter of a minute, I would say. The whole idea with this is that you get the front of that flush with the front of that. Because I've been mucking on with the camera and chatting, the fillers ended up going off quicker than I'd hoped. But I think we'll be fine. This will set completely solid in about 10 minutes. So what you're going to do now is use your other scraper to clean this and get it all nice and clean. Do not put old filler back into your tub that's got the new filler, because the old filler can make your new filler go off. I've waited about 10 minutes. You'll feel the filler will get hot as it sets, or as it's a catalytic reaction between the hardener and the filler. And you'll feel it gets hot as it goes off. And then once it's cooled back down again, that's it generally ready. You can tell because it's like rock solid. Give it a quick sand just so there's nothing kind of sticking above the level of where you're going to be putting the final filler on. Let's brush that down. Or even better, you can use one of them newfangled Hoover things. A couple of things I forgot to mention before because I thought it was kind of obvious, but if you are going to be core drilling or using a hole saw into a wall, don't just plunge this into the wall and assume you're not going to hit anything, because that is the actions of a person who's calling out an emergency plumber. What I would always suggest you do all your usual checks. Again, I've done a video all about this. I'll include a link in the description below. Use a detector and all that sort of thing. If nothing else, pop a blunt masonry bit on, do an exploratory hole with the blunt masonry bit, have a little feel around, make sure there's no pipes and cables behind, and then very tentatively go in with the core drill. You should be okay. It's still not guaranteed because all sorts of stuff gets hidden behind walls. And while I'm at it, if you live in a world of pink fluffy bunnies and zero fumes and you don't like the smell of like industrial things, you're not going to like two-part filler. It's got a very strong smell to it. The smell goes away once it's gone off, and it's completely gone once it's painted. But if strong smells offend you and you think it's going to kill you, then just pack your wall full of straw or something like that instead. So all I've done, I've now used the Ronseal, the white filler. As you can see, it's not quite white, but it's more white than the grey filler. And I've put that in as quickly as I could into the gaps. I've then used the big filler knife, which I need to clean, to kind of level it off. We're not looking to get it absolutely 100% at this stage, but we want to get it like as flat as possible. So, another 10 minutes has passed. That's solid, ready for sanding. You can tell if you can't dig your nail into it, it's generally ready to rock. We'll give that a quick sand. Breathe it in. Don't actually breathe it in. So we're not aiming to get it 100%, depending on where this is. I mean, you know, that's probably better than the wall around it, to be honest. Don't aim to get it perfect on every coat, but normally that would probably be fine for most situations. Because I'm a bit of a fanny, I'm going to do one more mix of filler and just fill in these tiny little bits around there, a little bit there, and then that'll be it, ready for paint. But as I say, don't aim to get it perfect on every coat of filler. You'll find you shouldn't need any more than 3 goes over. One to kind of do the rough filling, one for your main coat, and then optionally a third bit of filler for your kind of hairline cracks. And by the way, I can hear it in the comments now, oh, it'll crack over time. It doesn't. What you can sometimes do, if there's very, very slight imperfections, you can rub a bit of cork into it, and that'll make it literally invisible by the time you get paint over it. Actually, now that I've hoovered this, it's sucked some of the dust out of a little gap here, and I'm going to do another really quick bit of filler just for there and a little bit there. When you're doing these kind of final bits of kind of perfectionism, you want your filler knife to be nice and sharp and just no rough bits on the tip. Be careful because, I mean, you could easily cut yourself on that. Only need a tiny bit of filler for this. Don't mix more than you can use because it just goes off. Tiny bit here. On this last little run of filler, sometimes you can get it so smooth it barely needs to be sanded. Tiny bit there, that's perfect. A bit round there, I'll just blend that in. We're starting to get it flatter than the wall around it. It depends where you're doing this, you know, if it's in an area that's like at eye level, obviously you want to take a bit more care over it. So, you now want to give it a quick coat of primer. Ugh. Preferably primer that's been stirred. You can paint over this with more or less anything, but I would suggest you prime it first. So just give it a coat of primer. I'm just using a water-based acrylic primer undercoat here. You can roller it on if you want. I'm just brushing this because I'm going to feather it into the existing paint. We'll leave that to dry. Depending on what primer you've used, that can take an hour or so to dry, so go and have a cuppa, go and get on with some other jobs. Check what it says on your tin for how long you're supposed to leave your primer to dry. Don't lose sleep over it. If it feels dry, it'll probably be fine. On a little area like this, don't stress out about it. Just to preempt some of the trolley comments, Stan Mayer says, I've used this before. I applied it with my child's face as per the instructions. It looked terrible. Don't listen to this so-called professional. Well, Stan, honestly, I don't know what's going on there. My pot of Deco Fill specifically says on it, do not apply using your child's face. Carrie Labonte, or is it Labont, says, can you use soup? I wouldn't recommend soup for filling holes in walls. Chris Simon Brian Dave says, you have no clue. Go back to where you came from and stop stealing our jobs. I your mother. Dad? Chris then goes on to say, can you use soup? The primer's dry now, so I'm just going to use a roller for the top coat. I'm going to give it a couple of coats of the top coat. It's just white this, but the roller will help to blend it in a bit better. Obviously try and use paint that's not full of bits. The patch where the filler is will always get a bit darker when the paint's wet. That's completely normal. Let it dry and then judge it. You'll probably find that once the paint's dried you can't see it. If you can, do another coat. You shouldn't need any more than 2 top coats normally, but it depends how dark the filler is or the colour of your walls and stuff like that. We'll come back to it once it's dry. There we go, absolutely perfect. If you didn't know otherwise, you would never know anything had happened to this wall. I hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe. It'll make this whole effort worthwhile. As I say, I've made much better videos than this.